Hey everyone, this is Ben. Welcome back to UnchartedX. As you can tell, I am still in Egypt. It's quite a bright day out here. A couple of days ago we wrapped up what has been just an amazing tour of Egypt, the one that I've been planning for quite some time. It got delayed and then we managed to put it on in November, December of 2020. It was just a great tour, a really awesome group of people. We saw some incredible things. It went pretty much as I'd hoped in terms of all of the sites being pretty much empty of other tourists. I think it's really a rare opportunity to see these sites in that manner that we managed to on this trip. So thanks to everybody who made the trip. I've got a little video here for you today. I wanted to share some of the footage while I was still in Egypt. I'm heading home tomorrow at this point. What I wanted to share was just a little visit to the Great Pyramid. So it's going to be a little talk around the outside of the Great Pyramid, talk about the socle and how it relates to the dimensions of the planet. And then it's the last thing that we did on this trip was we had a 2-hour private visit into the Great Pyramid, into all of the chambers, the Subterranean chamber, the Queen's chamber, the upper chamber. And in this video, I wanted to share with you my visit down to the Subterranean chamber. I was the first one down there. I went down there sort of on my own in this trip. It's some eerie, awesome footage. I just thought it would be a nice thing to share out while I'm working on the rest of the content. I hope you enjoy it. I'll be back at the end of the video to share with you some more updates about what I've got planned and coming up. Cheers. You know what I mean by the socle? So this is the original angle came down to here, but this socle it gives you two ways of measuring the height and the width and the circumference of the passageway. So this is the socle.
It's called the socle?
Socle.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is the edge of the pyramid here.
Oh, okay.
And so
originally filled this space in like that?
Right, there's a lip that goes around it like this, and because this is the original angle. So if you take just two different measurements for height and for circumference, whether you measure with the socle or without, but if you take the ratio of the circumference of it without the socle next to the ratio of the circumference with the socle, that's exactly the ratio between latitude and longitude on the planet.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
So it's
coincidence.
Well, that's how they say that it encodes the dimensions of the Earth, of the northern hemisphere.
It was a scale or
Yeah.
circumference.
Yeah, I think it's 1/4 of 1 minute of 1 degree of latitude is this measurement using this edge, and then 1/4 of 1 degree of longitude on the map is equivalent to the length using the socle. So yeah.
We don't want to confuse the experts with science, that's for certain.
Right. Sorry, he's peeping at me. I didn't do the best job of explaining that in this little clip. The socle and its relationship to latitude and longitude on the planet is something that I had also explained in another video of mine called The Curious Connection Between the Great Pyramid and the Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings. And this is one of the slides that I included in that presentation. This is just one of many astonishing factors about the dimensions of the Great Pyramid and how they relate to the dimensions of the planet, and in particular the Northern Hemisphere. One other thing you might notice in this footage as we're walking around is the addition of a rope. They've actually roped off the Great Pyramid. In this case, I'm on the wrong side of the rope and you can hear the guys sort of peeping and tooting their whistles at me. Just walking around the perimeter of the Great Pyramid. Just a beautiful day out here today.
No. But like, send your friend, well, he just got all my money. You have to bargain with him now.
But yeah, just another good example of how everywhere around the world they seem to be restricting access more and more on these sites. And this is a topic that I'll explore further in some more videos coming out of this trip. The vendors were certainly plenty happy to see us. They're thick as thieves up on the Giza Plateau, and they're relentless. So it's always a good word to learn in Arabic when you come over here is khalas. It means enough or finish. And the other one is le, it's no. just keep repeating that to them. Eventually, they'll get the picture.
This is another block that used to be
Later on that same day, we came back for our private visit into the Great Pyramid. We had essentially rented it for 2 hours with all of the chambers open. And this footage that you'll see is entering through what is today the modern entrance into the structure called Mamun's Hole, which was the hacked passage that was allegedly done by the Caliph al-Mamun, I think in around the 12th century, just going from memory. What's interesting about this passageway is that it somehow unerringly finds the junction of the descending passageway and also the ascending passageway, which were not meant to, I guess, be seen. The ascending passageway and the junction into the descending passageway was blocked up by these 3 massive granite plugs that you can see in some of this footage coming up here. And there was also a hidden lintel or a hidden stone that sort of concealed that passageway into it. And what's really interesting is that somehow when they hammered their way into the pyramid through this entrance, they somehow unerringly found this spot. And it's kind of almost too accurate for its own good. It leads to some people speculating that perhaps this was more of a way out rather than a way in, because there were entrances known to the Great Pyramid in antiquity well before the time of Al-Mamun. It's all fairly mysterious.
Mind your heads! What are you waiting for? Huh?
Where are you guys all going?
Yeah, it looks like a movie set, doesn't it? Looks like you walk around Disney World. You told me that's all down in the shop.
Yeah,
Oh, you're spoiling it. You mean that guy got in Disney World and got the shit?
I don't know why, but they've added this box, this wooden thing here, that sort of covers up some of the granite plug junction. I've actually got better footage of it from a previous trip here, but eventually you will see the granite plugs that are at the bottom of the ascending passageway.
Yeah, so we're going around the... So that is the granite block you see there?
Yeah, granite blocks are just here behind this thing. They're up in there. You see them up on around there.
Well, that's the granite block. Yes. One of them, yeah.
What's down here?
That's down to the subterranean passage, subterranean chamber.
Does it have that long passageway that was?
This is the long descending passageway. Yeah. Go ahead. I think we're going up here first, and we'll come back down here.
I would normally be intimidated by a long descending passageway, but now it is just a
Long descending passageway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you can see just a little image of the granite blocks. I did get some better photographs and things of them. So at this point I was at the back of the group, Yusuf's up at the front, and as you can see everybody was heading up in towards the Grand Gallery, and I just made the decision at that point, like, you know what, I'm going to take the opportunity and shoot down to the subterranean chamber, get away from the group. We had it for 2 hours, so everybody had a chance to explore everything, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to go downstairs.
Actually, I'm gonna go down. I'm the host. I'm going to go down.
Okay.
Yes.
This is looking back up the descending passageway to what would have been the original entrance under the corbel blocks that you can see on the front of the pyramid. And also, if you look closely, you'll see the kind of the cavity in the roof above this area, just in front of me here. That's where that hidden lintel block was, and that chamber leads up, essentially is blocked by these three massive granite plugs that are also in that passageway.
Looking up the descending passageway. Looks like a door there. All the way down.
The passageway from there descends down something like 87 meters down to the subterranean chamber. It's unerringly straight. There is, I think it's something like less than an inch of discrepancy from being perfectly straight down through the blocks of the lower pyramid, and then it goes down through the bedrock. It's an incredible bit of engineering. And it's also very dark down there. You're also going to have to put up with a bit of my heavy breathing into the microphone. Everyone on this trip suffered a little bit of congestion and kind of like drippy nose. I think it's mostly from just all the dust and kind of pollution in Egypt. So, consequently, it's almost like everyone had like a mild head cold while we were here.
Going down the descending passageway to the subterranean chamber. It's only the second time I've been in here. I think this might be.
You'll notice that at the bottom there's no lights. There's no lights in the subterranean chamber.
Bump the head. Doing that.
This little section here near the bottom of the descending passageway is the exit from the well shaft. It leads up to the grotto. This is a sort of rock-cut passageway that leads from the bottom of the Grand Gallery all the way down to the subterranean chamber or the descending passageway.
So I think this is the grotto, the well shaft. Let's stop.
Annoyingly, my little camera that I was using here, it kept malfunctioning when I was in here. I think I was using an SD card that was particularly slow, but it just kept shutting off. So, yeah, unfortunately, I've missed a couple little bits and pieces of this trip, but I did my best to manage it. And you can kind of hear me cursing at the camera at one point here.
There's the passageway in. It's where the cosmic ray equipment is.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit of equipment. I think this is the Scan Pyramids project that's still ongoing. Essentially, it's cosmic ray detectors trying to look for voids inside the structure.
Deep in the depths, underneath the Great Pyramid. Woo. Massive subterranean chamber. There's a giant nub or something. How much know? About as deep as it goes. And there's this strange door and passage that leads.
It's a very odd little passageway that leads off in the corner of the subterranean chamber. On the only other time that I had visited this area, there was no door here, and a couple of us had actually crawled all the way down the end of that passageway where it just ends and you kind of have to back out. Doesn't seem to go anywhere. Someone on our trip actually was banging on the end of that wall and saying, hello, hello. Right down there.
I really hope you're fucking working, card. Up in the top corner. Again, all the equipment. So, here's the subterranean chamber. I snuck down here on my own before the group. I think everyone will be coming down pretty soon. I'm going to sneak back up and go to the other spots. I really wanted to see this though. Alright, let's go. Wow. What a chamber. It's incredible.
So I then made my way all the way back up the descending passageway back to the junction and then back into the ascending passageway that leads up to the Grand Gallery, where I ran into Jimmy from Bright Insight, who was at the other end of the tour. I think he was the first one into the King's Chamber. As you can tell, really excited and coming down to see the rest of the structure, and I let him know that, you know, go down to the Subterranean chamber.
We're getting an inside and out tour of the Great Pyramid of Giza on December 11, 2020, just after sunset. Oh, what's up, Ben?
What's up, mate?
Hey!
How you doing?
You're on camera, brother. What are you
You're on
thinking?
camera too.
Yeah.
I love it here. I got down and went to the Subterranean chamber. There's only...
Just now?
I've been down and been back up.
Is it open?
Yeah, man. There's one guy down there, just
I'm
a German
going in.
friend. Yeah, do it. Take a torch. It's dark at the bottom.
Okay.
It's surreal.
This is the way, right?
Yep, turn right. Well, go down.
Open the door.
Descend, my friend.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that brief look into the Subterranean chamber in the Great Pyramid. Don't worry, I've got a lot more footage like that planned. I think I've ended up with something like 450 gigabytes of new footage. As a result of this trip, I hit a lot of objectives in terms of filming at different sites and investigating various different things. You know, Aberrawash, Karnak Temple, Luxor Temple. I've got a lot of content planned, including a video looking at some of the changes that I've noticed in Egypt, because things have evolved and moved on from the last time I was here. Some of them good, some of them bad, and we'll get into that. I also have a few other interviews planned coming up. In fact, as a special treat for the people that made this trip, we managed to spend about an hour and a half with Randall Carlson on a Zoom call taking questions. And I'm going to upload that footage as a special bonus for channel patrons, channel members, channel supporters. Before I left, I recorded about 3.5 hours of interview with Patrice Poyard, who is the director of Revelations of the Pyramids, as well as the new documentary Builders of the Ancient Mysteries. It was a fascinating conversation. I've also been in touch with Christopher Dunn again since I was here. There's this incredible box at this place called Lahoun. Maybe I'll show a picture of it here in this video. Probably the most precise granite box in all of Egypt. Just a remarkable piece of work, and I was talking to him about that, and we're going to arrange to do another podcast as well. Also Brian Forrester, Brothers of the Serpent. There's a whole lot more coming up, so please, if you like this, give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Cheers.